if you look at Hanoi, like I first did for my first couple of weeks, you just see so much activity. Right? You see everyone is going to work or coming from work, or they're delivering things, or there's fruit baskets on their bike. I never really saw anyone just sitting outside and reading. So it's kind of like that, like I didn't really know what to expect. I felt like a little bit Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When she goes into the forest and she's running from something, but she finds this cottage that she didn't expect to find.
Ooh, it's dark inside.
And then she finds these people that are very unique and special.
Hello?
Going back into the depths of Hanoi, I was really rewarded by the spaces that I found. Hanoi, in the heat of midsummer. These days, the temperature is often over 36 degrees Celsius. I'm Olivia, a university student from Canada. I'm here doing volunteer work. After my volunteer hours, I spend my free time discovering Hanoi, as this is the first time I've been here. There are so many things that provoke my curiosity. I really don't know where I should start. Why not with books? I love books. I'm here visiting a place in Hanoi that every foreigner should come see. There are many different kinds of books, like fantasy and fiction. No matter what you like, you will be able to find something here. The Bookworm was established in 2001 by Australian author Pam Scott as a book exchange for expats fluent in English. Fee, a staff at Bookworm, has provided me with useful information about this bookstore. Where do all these books come from?
All these books come from the customers. After reading them, they want to sell first to buy new books. It's like we exchange books.
Yeah, so they return them and then they buy some new ones. Does this happen often?
For the second-hand books, yeah.
What kind of people come here to buy books?
There are many kinds of people. There are travelers, backpackers, and foreign people and their family living in Hanoi. In recent years, there are more and more young local Vietnamese come here to buy books. They want to practice English and they want to read books in English language.
I didn't really expect to see something so familiar. That was very, very special and kind of a reminder that no matter where you travel, other people may think the same as you or value the same things. So it was kind of a nice little surprise for me. What do you think is very special about these books and this bookstore?
The most special thing about this bookshop is a lot of second-hand books. You can imagine that they have made a long way to come here. Sometimes we even find a book that, it was here before and it traveled a long way to the other bookshops in Southeast Asia and it comes back here.
That's so cool. Yeah, so every book kind of has its own story before it comes back here. Yeah, it has a story.
Here. It has a history.
Yeah. In Canada, we have, like he said, we do have secondhand bookstores, or there are little boxes that you can see in the street where it says like, take a book, leave a book. So there are some things like that where the stories keep cycling around. But I haven't heard of anything cycling around after so long and then coming back to its original spot. Like that doesn't really happen. So that's very special just because there's so many different people and so many different places that a story could go, but instead it comes back to its home. books would you recommend to a student like me?
Since you are a foreigner, so of course you should read some books about Vietnam.
Are those in this room or are they?
No, they are upstairs. We have a small room for books about Vietnam and Southeast Asia.
Can you show me?
Yeah, of course. This is the room for books about Vietnam and Southeast Asia. Here you can find many kinds of books. Books about the culture, about the modern life. You can find here some very old historical books about Vietnam. They were published between 1970s or 1980s. For example, this one is about a female poet, a very famous one. It was published in French.
Okay.
And nowadays it's very hard to find this kind of books. Although we know that it lost some pages here, but we know that this is a valuable book. So we still want to keep it in a... Yeah. It has,
I decided to buy the rare poetry book recommended by Phi.
with this one,
The book was written 200 years ago by a female Vietnamese poet. I'd like to learn more about Vietnamese culture.
Bookshops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, if this is the first place that I'm seeing, then, and there are many more, then I'm very excited to see what else I will learn along the way. The streets of Hanoi are always crowded now. Everyone is busy and everyone is rushing. However, among the busy hustle is something that makes you feel like life slows. The old bookstores are not quite popular in Hanoi. They are often unassumingly located in crowded streets and people pass them easily without noticing their presence. In other words, they seem to be invisible. However, to book lovers, those old bookstores are true treasures. Never in my life have I seen such a small space full of so many books. But here in Hanoi, it is real. The hallways are so small that if I want to pass, excuse me, we have to squish together like this. The owner tells me that the space is only 24 square meters large, but that it contains thousands and thousands of books, which contain thousands and thousands of stories for people to read. This bookstore has belonged to a well-known elderly couple for the past 40 years. It has been relocated many times, but readers in Hanoi continue to follow the collection of this couple wherever they go. How did you start this bookstore?
Tôi bắt đầu từ năm 1974 thế cho đến bây giờ.
What do books mean to you? Like, why is it important to fix them and to keep them?
Quyển sách này nó có lợi mình được xem rồi các cháu nó cũng được xem hết. Thế hệ này đến thế hệ khác mình vẫn cứ tồn tại được. Cầm cái quyển sách mình cứ thích nâng niu nó lên mà thấy nó sờn sờn một tí thì nhìn nó ngứa mắt lắm. Thế thành ra lại phải dán. Yêu sách cũ thì mình mới bán được sách chứ.
Mrs. Zen said that her customers eventually become family friends. Every day they come to her just to inquire about her health. Younger children think of her as their grandmother. Right now, there is a woman here with her two children, and they are buying a couple books. Here you can see that there are a lot of children's books, which makes me think that whenever children come here, they see this woman is fixing books and they see that she loves the books very much. So that way when they go home and to read this book, they know that the book has already been loved.
Rồi.
You have a lot of children's books and anime and comics. Are there a lot of kids that like to come to this bookstore?
Ở hàng này thì Trẻ em, người lớn rồi tiến sĩ, giáo sư đều đến đây để mua đấy. Các cháu sinh viên, học sinh đến đây mua sách cứ từng tầng lớp lớp. Thế lại bán cả sách giáo khoa cho các cháu từ cái lớp 1 cho đến lớp 12, xong rồi các cháu cứ đỗ đại học rồi lại đến đây. Bác ơi, cháu đỗ đại học rồi đây. Nó cũng rất là vui cháu ạ.
A pouring rain comes unexpectedly. The summer heat plus the humidity of the rain is not a pleasant experience. I ask Mrs. Zen if she wants to stop working with the books and enjoy a life of retirement.
Con tôi nó cứ bảo bố mẹ cứ phải vất vả như thế này mãi đến bao giờ. Tôi bảo không, tôi không bỏ được cái nghề sách này. Tôi vẫn phải bán đến khi nào người ta không cho thuê cửa hàng nữa thì tôi lại về nhà tôi bán cho các cháu. Cứ làm cái công việc này đúng là nó rất là vui. Mình được giao tiếp với lại bạn bè, mình lại giao tiếp với các cháu, mặc dù các cháu bé tí xíu nó còn vào đây hỏi bà ơi hôm nay có kẹo không? Đấy, nó vui lắm. Cảm thấy như mình thêm cái sức khỏe để mà mình làm việc. Đấy.
Well, when I asked the question, I don't think I was expecting such an emotional response. I'm very happy and very honored that she did, of course. And that just gave me more insight into what really is valuable in Hanoi, which is kind of ensuring that the next generation grows up amongst like iPhones and iPods and like television and all this technology, but that they still are able to have access to these ideas. Mrs. Jian's husband is also a very famous book collector in Hanoi. We are very lucky to meet him today because he is often busy out with his books. I'm very excited to see what extraordinary treasures he has waiting for me. Ciao, Baka.
Cháu vào xem sách rồi.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
Mời vào.
Thank you.
Mà cháu đến gặp bác là muốn tìm cuốn sách gì?
I'm here to find the English and French version of The Tale of Kyo.
Bác có, mời cháu cùng bác đi lên trên kia nhé.
Okay. It kind of felt like that, like you're going up and up all these stairs and you're waiting for what is this man going to show me. And then once he revealed his room to me, kind of overwhelming. I just liked seeing the room and just really visualizing and being able to see how much that meant to him. I was really honored just because that's his personal area and like he's very protective over his books. Mr. Jian is one of the most famous book collectors in Hanoi. He is now over 70 and has collected books for more than 50 years. When asked whether he remembers how many books are in his library, he admitted that he has never counted. When people fall in love with something, they will never measure it, he added. I estimate that there must be tens of thousands of books in his library. I'm indeed fortunate to gain his trust and to see his secret library.
Đây, giới thiệu cháu là cuốn, đây là cuốn Kiều.
Okay.
Đấy, của tác giả là Huỳnh Sanh Thông. Cái bản này là không phải in ở Việt Nam mà vẫn in ở London. Quý, rất là quý, là có cái chữ ký của dịch giả.
Yeah, the translator signed it? Yeah.
Đấy, đây là cái cuốn này là coi như là đã bao nhiêu người muốn bác để lại nhưng mà không bán đâu.
Right.
Vì là mình để là lưu niệm. Hôm nay là gặp cháu thì là bác mới đưa để cho cháu xem đấy. Đấy. Cái này là năm 1983.
So way older than
Trên là
me.
tuổi cháu luôn.
Yeah.
Còn đây là của Nguyễn Khắc Viện, nhà văn hóa
Okay,
lớn,
this is in French.
nhà văn hóa lớn của Việt Nam ấy.
So even
Hà Nội.
older.
1977.
Okay.
Đây là mới là những các cái cuốn mà gọi là tạm nhá. Đây bác còn một cuốn mà những năm tháng còn dài hơn. Ôi, gấp đến 4 lần tuổi của cháu hiện tại bây giờ đấy. Đây. in.
Oh my goodness.
1942,
Yeah.
đúng năm sinh của bác. Đấy.
That's older than my
Đó,
parents.
Của nhà xuất bản Alexander Roth.
The Tale of Gyo by the great poet Nguyen Du is considered the classic work of narrative poems, a masterpiece of literature in Vietnam. Many domestic and foreign scholars say with the Tale of Gyo, Nguyen Du was the first and only one who brings the Vietnamese language to the peak of literary arts. They compared the effects of Nguyen Du on Vietnamese with the ones of Pushkin on Russian and Shakespeare on English. For over 200 years, the Tale of Gyo has been translated into 20 languages around the world, such as French, Russian, English, Chinese, and Korean. I've heard of the Tale of Gyo. I'm very happy that I can hold these 3 different translations in my hand and kind of get to see how precious they are, especially like that it is in 2 languages that I understand, so I can actually read the story that is so important to the Vietnamese people and to their culture. So this is where all of the precious books are being kept, and I'm very fortunate and very appreciative that he has decided to let me borrow these books for a short amount of time because they are very precious to him and he does not entrust them to many people. If I want to read and finish the books, I think I will have to come back to Vietnam because he will never part with his treasures. Books are Mr. Zen's life. He has told me emotional stories of his time with books.
Cái này rất là quý, là cuốn này nó quý vì có cái chữ này nên trả giá bao nhiêu bác không dám bán. Thời gian mà còn đi làm ấy, thì hầu như là đồng lương dồn hết cả vào cho sách. Chủ nhật mà nghỉ nhá, thì tôi cứ đi lang thang vào các hiệu sách thôi. Cái đam mê của mình nó đam mê đến tột cùng. Thậm chí quần áo mà được phát là tôi cũng phải bán đi, lấy tiền mua sách. Bất kể quyển nào mà tôi mua được ấy, cũng rất là quý vì sách là trên hết.
I'm overwhelmed by his historic library, but now I'm more than touched by his passion for literature and desire to serve the community.
Duyên trời xui khiến gì mà mình lại trở thành ra một người bán sách. Cái bán sách của tôi nó khác với là tại mọi người là bây giờ các bạn trẻ đến, có thể các bạn ngồi đến 2-3 tiếng đồng hồ để nghe tôi nói về sách, để truyền lại cho các thế hệ sau là mình học tập gì ở sách. Bác chỉ có mỗi một cái quan điểm là văn hóa đọc phải là muôn năm tồn tại, không có gì có thể thay đổi.
I think he really took a perspective where he said, what is something that everybody needs, but that nobody is really conscious of needing? And that is stories that inspire us, and stories that provoke humanity, that provoke thinking, that provoke positive change. So I think like at a very young age, he must have had this insight and then just followed that for the rest of his life. So I think for him, it really is about just making a gradual change in his community for the better, which is very like self-sacrificing of him and very noble of him to do. After meeting Mr. Xian, I'm on my way to meet another bookkeeper who has his own way of showing his passion for books. Mr. Lum has mended books for those that seek his book doctoring for nearly 30 years. They trust him and hope to receive healthy books. However, not many people know why Mr. Lum has become a doctor of books.
Tôi có một cái kỷ niệm rất là đáng nhớ. Đây là quyển sách mà một nhà thơ nổi tiếng của Việt Nam, tức là Xuân Diệu, tặng cho hai vợ chồng nhân ngày cưới. Tức là cách đây 31 năm rồi. Từ năm 1985 là cũng qua thời gian nó bị bong và mình cũng phải làm lại. Khi chỉnh sửa nhưng mà vẫn giữ lại cái bản gốc.
When his precious book was affected by time, Mr. Lum sought many ways to save it. Eventually, he fixed the book by himself as no one at that time fixed books. He became a doctor of books, first trusted by friends and then eventually by everyone. We see here that in order to restore the book to its original state, Mr. Lum goes meticulously over every single page to see what can be fixed. It is not a complicated procedure. He simply uses very simple tools. However, it is a process that requires patience and a lot of dedication to books.
Nguyên tắc của cái quyển sách mà mình phục chế lại là phải giữ được càng nhiều phần gốc của nó càng tốt. Đừng có vì cái mà rách của nó mà mình bỏ đi, mình thay đi. Giữ được nguyên bản bao nhiêu càng tốt bấy nhiêu.
Mr. Lum used to work as a printing designer. After his retirement, he has time for his hobby and does it professionally. To mend the covers of old books, Mr. Lum often recreates them in order to replicate the originals. He said that if a book is not fixed properly, its soul will vanish.
Đây là một quyển sách mà mất cái bìa chính, làm lại bằng một cái bìa khác. Đây là bìa gốc của người ta. Tôi đã làm lại ra một cái bìa tương tự giống cái bìa gốc.
A couple of my books at home have like missing pages or like the title page is kind of wearing off just from reading it so much, but it's always been something like, oh, like throw some tape on it, like it'll be fine because I'm more concerned about the story. So to kind of visit the other avenue of like, well, in order to conserve the story, like, you know, you kind of also want to give the book some, almost like some dignity. I'm looking for your guidance with this book. I bought this book at the first bookstore, but as you can see, the pages are dog-eared over here, and then further on in the book, I'm very concerned about the quality of the pages and the pictures that have been lost. Do you know anything that could help me with this book?
Thế ở quyển sách này của bạn là có mấy vấn đề này. Thứ nhất là cái bìa nó đang bị rách này. Thứ hai là cái đầu góc quyển sách đang bị quăn. Thứ ba là có một số trang là bị mất một phần.
See, I'm really worried about these pages because everything has been lost here.
Thế thì trong cái trường hợp quyển sách của bạn ấy thì tôi có thể hướng dẫn bạn là vá lại cái bìa là một. Thứ hai là lại cái phần quăn của cuốn sách. Còn cái phần còn lại ấy thì rất nặng nề. Bạn phải tìm lại được cái bản gốc để bạn phục chế lại phần đã mất. Cái việc đầu tiên là sửa cái bìa. Bạn xem phần rách diện tích nó bao nhiêu thì bạn sẽ cắt một cái phần giấy gió tương ứng như thế. Sau đó thì bạn dùng hồ quét và bạn dán đằng sau, phía sau của cái bìa.
The tasks to fix the book were relatively simple, but if you do it impatiently or quickly, then you have another mistake to correct. So I was just kind of struck with how like patient and just peaceful you kind of have to be while you are fixing books.
Khi mà gặp những cái trường hợp sách nó bị quăn mép này là người ta phải rất tỉ mỉ, mất nhiều công. Vì khi mà anh làm một cái trang sách này, anh không thể để cả một chồng để anh là cho nó ra được, mà anh phải làm việc với từng trang sách một. Có thể là một quyển sách tỉ mỉ cái ngày này sang ngày khác thì mới làm được một quyển sách nó hoàn hảo. Sau đó khi người ta là không nên là trực tiếp như thế này, người ta đặt một cái tờ giấy khác đây, là qua một cái giấy khác.
As I'm ironing this book, first of all, I'm a little bit nervous that I will burn it since this is made out of paper. However, it may seem silly because I'm just ironing it out, but I feel a great sense of responsibility now over the condition of this book for the future readers. So usually I have a lot of very old books because I have just read them so many times that the pages have become dog-eared. But most of the time I just kind of leave it because I did not know that I could just carefully iron it out. But perhaps I will do that with a few of my books once I get back home. So now that I've learned how to completely restore a book, I would really appreciate it if anybody in the audience has any knowledge of any of this edition of the book, so that way I can finish restoring it to its completion. So if you have any knowledge about maybe the missing pages here, so I can completely restore the content of this book and the illustrations.
Cách bảo tồn những cái quyển sách cũng là một nét văn hóa của người Hà Nội. Đối với người Hà Nội cũ như là lớp chúng tôi trở lên, sách vở là rất quan trọng, không những là về kiến thức mà về cách cư xử trong Hà Nội. Vẫn có những cái tủ sách gia đình rất là trang trọng, thì có một cái tủ sách trong nhà là tự hào, rất là đáng để mà gìn giữ. Và cái điều đáng mừng ấy là lại rất nhiều bạn trẻ đến để mà tìm hiểu, học hỏi cái kinh nghiệm giữ sách, bảo quản sách và phục chế lại những cái quyển sách mà quý mà mình mua được.
Now, Hanoi is quite different from when I first arrived. Hanoi can also be a city of silence. I now understand why I didn't really meet anyone reading outside. It is because private corners are saved for books. People come to feel the books, to turn their pages and feel the print. In stepping into the peaceful depths of Hanoi, I am able to recognize that. Mr. Dien, Mrs. Zen, and Mr. Lam have kept a characteristic of Hanoi. I think they are preserving something that contributes to building the soul of this city. I'm here at the book festival in Hanoi. This is in celebration of the International Children's Day. This is an annual event that happens every year in the Temple of Literature in Hanoi. I feel that Mr. Lam and Mrs. Zen's work is really validated because you can actually see the younger community that they're trying to inspire to read. They succeeded in their goal,